Hi students, last lecture we have seen applications of electric current, that is Wheatstone's bridge and meter bridge and its uses with numerical. So today in this period we are going to learn about next point, that is next application of the electric current, potentiometer. So what is potentiometer? We'll explain in brief. It is the electrical device which is used to determine unknown EMF or potential difference in the circuit accurately. So I repeat, what is potentiometer? It is the electrical device which used to determine unknown EMF or potential difference in the circuit accurately. So here we'll see some constructive part of the potentiometer. So my dear student, it consists of 4-meter long manganese wire which is placed on a wooden board, okay, parallel to each other, and each piece is having length 1 meter, that is 100 centimeter, and these all 4 parallel pieces are connected in series with the help of 3 metallic strips. Here you can see 1, 2 and 3. These are the 3 metallic strips which connects the wire or connects separate pieces of 1 meter each into one long 4-meter wire, that is 400 centimeter wire. Okay, here we can see. So here A to B is nothing but 4 meter, that is 400 centimeter wire. So here we can see this is the basic circuit of potentiometer. Here in between point A and B, the battery of EMF E, ammeter in order to measure current, and rheostat to control the flow of current along with key is connected in between point A and B. So this is the primary circuit or basic circuit. So in order to measure the potential drop or what amount of potential is going to decrease or drop due to flow of current, that we have to measure with the help of one voltmeter. It's connected across jockey J. As we have discussed in previous lecture, jockey is the slider which you have to use to touch to the manganese wire, isn't it? So once again, what is potentiometer? So potentiometer, it is the electrical device which used to determine unknown EMF or potential difference in the circuit accurately. But next we'll see how does potentiometer work and on which principle. So principle of the potentiometer is, if the constant current flows through the potentiometer wire, with the help of this battery, if you flow constant current by adjusting the value of current by rheostat, okay, if you flow some constant current through this potentiometer wire, 4-meter long potentiometer wire, isn't it, of uniform cross sectional area A, then the potential drop, definitely if current is flowing through the wire, then definitely potential drop will be there, because this wire, manganese wire, is have some resistance. Okay, now we'll see the principle. If the constant current flows through the potentiometer wire of cross sectional area A, the potential drop V across the wire is directly proportional to the length of the potentiometer wire. So here I would like to explain this principle in simple way. Suppose if you pass small amount of current I through this wire, okay, 400 centimeter wire, then definitely there will be potential drop. So suppose if you slide or if you touch this jockey to this point A, it will show zero potential drop, means voltmeter will show the full scale deflection. But as we go, keep sliding the jockey, okay, on the manganese or potentiometer wire, okay, from point A to point B, the potential drop will increase. Potential drop will increase means potential difference is going to decrease. Here that concept we have to understand, my dear student. Potential drop means decreasing potential. Basically if you see here, as the length increases, potential across this battery decreases, isn't it? But we are talking about here potential drop. So as length increases, potential decreases. But if you see potential drop, so potential drop increases with increasing the length, isn't it? So here we can say, as we slide the jockey over this manganese wire, suppose here is potential is showing 100 volt. So if you slide the jockey, and at this point it may show 80 volt, here it may show 60, here it may show 40, here it is 10. So in this way the potential drop will increase as we increase the length, isn't it? So the principle is, the potential drop V across the wire is directly proportional to the length L, okay, of the potentiometer wire. So here we can write in the mathematical form V is proportional to L. So here V is potential drop. Here again, my dear students, you have to understand V is not potential difference. Here V is potential drop. मतलब कितना voltage कम हो रहा है. Okay. So this potential drop is directly proportional to length. Means as we increase the length, potential drop will also increase. So in order to remove this proportionality sign, we have to write potential drop is equal to K into L. And this K is constant called as potential gradient. And how do we define this potential gradient? So potential gradient, it is the ratio of potential drop per unit length. So we can define in this way. So K is equal to V upon L. That is potential gradient. It is the ratio of potential drop per unit length, isn't it? And the SI unit of potential drop is obviously volt per unit meter, because potential drop will be measured in volt and length is in meter. And if you see the graph between potential drop and length, it is directly proportional. As we increase the length, potential drop will also increase. That's why the constant K is varies, or it goes from point O in straight line. Why? This straight line indicates that V is proportional to L. So this is all about the potentiometer. Now the many of the students may think in that way, sir, what is the difference between voltmeter and potentiometer? Because as per the definition of potentiometer, here we have seen it is the electrical device which is used to determine unknown EMF or potential difference accurately, isn't it? Then what is the difference between potentiometer and voltmeter? So here deliberately I have added this chart over here. Okay, so what is the difference between potentiometer and voltmeter? Potentiometer, it is the instrument which is used to determine the unknown voltage or EMF, as you have seen. But voltmeter is the same definition. But if you see the symbol difference is there, but most important difference is that potentiometer is more accurate than voltmeter, isn't it? Potentiometer is high sensitive than voltmeter, means highly sensitive. And here we can use potentiometer by using null deflection type, means here we have to use galvanometer to show null deflection. Here there is no galvanometer, simply we have to convert galvanometer into voltmeter, and then voltmeter as it is we have to use. So voltmeter will show some voltage directly. So resistance, here resistance in potentiometer is infinite, here you can see, and voltmeter is very high but measurable. So here we are going to discuss this resistance concept in the topic of magnetic effect of electric current. Okay, next, so hope you understand this. Next, now we'll see some applications of the potentiometer. Clear? So there are two applications. First, comparison of EMF of cell by using potentiometer, means suppose you have two primary cells, two batteries, and each battery is having, both the batteries having its own or their own potential difference or own EMF. Now we are going to compare the EMF of these two cells with the help of potentiometer. Now first we will see the construction and working. So this is the potentiometer, basic diagram of potentiometer. As I said, this is 4 meter long manganese wire, okay, is connected between point A and B. Okay, and in between point A and B again we have connected battery, ammeter, rheostat and key. Okay, then we'll see the construction and working. Now first we'll see construction part. The potentiometer circuit is set up by connecting a battery of EMF E with key K and rheostat such that potential A is at higher potential than B. So as we have discussed in Wheaton's meter bridge, the potential at A must be greater than potential at B. Then only will slide the jockey over the manganese wire and will get some potential drop across it. Okay. Then the cells whose EMF are to be compared are connected with their positive terminal at A. Means suppose we have to consider here two cells. This is cell 1 of EMF E1. Okay. And here we'll take, this is the cell 2nd of EMF E2. Now if you see the construction part, both the cell of their positive terminals are connected at point A and negative terminal is connected to key K1 and K2. Means here we can write or we can see both the cell whose EMF are to be compared are connected with their positive terminal at point A. Here positive EMF of cell E, here it is connected to, here we can see positive terminal of the EMF E is connected to A, and positive terminal of the battery E2, that is EMF E2, is connected to A. So both positive terminal we have connected at point A. Then the negative terminal of the cell E1 is connected to key K1, and negative terminal of the cell E2 is connected to K or key K2, and both are connected with two-way key. Okay, I'll be explaining you what is two-way key in physics lab. Okay, and this two-way key is further connected to resistance box, then galvanometer, and then jockey. Here it is shown two jockeys because obviously we cannot connect two jockeys, we have only one jockey in this experiment, but as we are going to take two readings, here J1 for this E1 and J2 for this E2, that's why the second virtual jockey is shown in dotted. Okay, so hope I am very clear with the constructive part. Now if you see, the null point is obtained by touching the jockey at various point on the potentiometer. Okay, but before that, what we are supposed to do, you know, the next, see, the key K is closed. First we have to close the key K, this key has to be closed, and then K1 is closed and key K2 is kept open, means initially key K and this K1 we have to close, means current will flow through E1 only, and K2 at same time K2 will kept open or will remain open only, isn't it? Means current will not flow through E2, will get current passing through only key K2, sorry, key K1 and battery E1, isn't it? But here you make sure that the EMF of this E, that is auxiliary battery, is must be greater than this E1 and E2, isn't it? So initially key K is closed and then key K1 is closed and K2 is kept open. Therefore the cell of EMF E1 comes into the circuit, comes into the action, we can say. Okay, then the null point is obtained. Same way we have to do like the way we did in last Wheatstone's bridge experiment. So if you touch or slide the jockey over this manganese wire, and wherever it shows null deflection, means galvanometer shows zero deflection, there we have to stop. Suppose here it shows the null deflection at J1. Okay, then this L1 will be the effective length or balance length due to this E1. So we can write E1 according to the principle, this potential drop across E1 is directly proportional to this L1. So here we can write this potential drop across this E1 is directly proportional to L1 at constant K. So let L1 be the length of the wire between the null point and the point A, means L1 is the length of the wire between this point A to this jockey. Matlab wherever you got the null deflection, that point we will consider. Okay, and between this point and this point the length is considered L1. Okay, so EMF E1 is directly proportional to L1 according to the principle of the potentiometer. So here we can write E1 is proportional to L1, that is E1 is equal to KL1. So K is constant called as potential gradient. So this is our equation number 1. So we got here equation number 1 due to cell E1, as K2 was open, it was kept open, that's why E2 was not in the circuit, isn't it? So only we have taken reading for E1. Now same we are going to repeat for E2 by keeping the key K1 open. Okay, so now we'll see the next slide. Here in previous slide we have taken the reading for E1. Now in next slide, now key K1 is kept open, as I said. Now K1 हमें open करनी है, मतलब open रखनी है, remove करनी है K1 से. Okay, and key K2 is closed. Now K2 में key insert करनी है, मतलब अभी current E2 से pass होगा, यहाँ से current नहीं जाएगा because K1 is open now in this case. Now key K1 is kept open and K2 is closed. The cell of EMF E2 now comes into action, that is comes into the circuit. Again the null point is obtained. So again we have to do same procedure, slide this dotted line because this already we have used. So again we have to slide jockey over manganese wire. So wherever you are getting the null point, that is galvanometer shows the null deflection, there we have to stop and we have to note down the reading. So suppose just consider that here we are getting the null deflection point. Okay, so this is J2. So this length between J2 and A is nothing but L2, that is balancing length. So let L2 be the length of the wire between the null point, that is J2, and the point A. So this length corresponding to EMF E2 of the cell. So according to the principle of potentiometer, we can write EMF is directly proportional to length. So EMF of second cell is directly proportional to length due to second cell, that is effective length due to second cell, that is L2. So E2 is equal to KL2, where K is potential gradient. So from equation 1 and 2, we know that equation 1 was E1 is equal to KL1. So if you divide equation 1 by 2, okay, so we'll get E1 upon E2 is equal to L1 by L2. So this is the final expression. Thus we can compare the EMF of two cell. If any one of EMF is known, the other can be determined. So here, my dear student, we can easily compare. Suppose E1 by E2, we can easily compare, because L1 and L2 we are getting, or we are going to obtain from this experiment only. And suppose E1 is 1 volt and L1 is 10 and this is 30, so easily we can find E2 by knowing these three values. Understood? So hope you understand. So this is the actual practical setup. Here we can see this is the cell we are using, Lancaster cell. These are the two resistance boxes, anyone we are going to use, and this is potentiometer exactly we can say, and this is the our jockey. Here we can see this is jockey, we have to slide over manganese wires. Here we can see this is a jockey with metallic contact over here. Okay, this is rheostat, and this is the ammeter we have to use with this auxiliary battery of EMF E, we can see. Okay, so hope you understood. We'll see now in what way the CBSE board may ask question on this point. So the question will be like, describe the method of comparing EMF of two cells with the help of potentiometer, and for this case we have to write each and everything. So hope you understood, my dear student. So next we'll see. So next point, the second application of potentiometer, that is to determine internal resistance of the cell by using potentiometer. My dear student, we already learned about the internal resistance, because internal resistance is nothing but resistance offered by the electrolyte of the cell, means between anode and cathode. That resistance is called as internal resistance. Okay, and that internal resistance of the cell we are going to calculate or going to determine by using this potentiometer. So how we are going to do this, we'll see. So first we'll see the construction and working part. So same, the basic figure of the potentiometer is same. Clear, 4 meter long manganese wire is connected between point A and B, and again one key, rheostat, ammeter and battery is connected further in between point A and B. Okay, this is the basic circuit diagram of the potentiometer is same. Okay, but we have to change the point A as per our application, as per our demand of the application. Okay, so now here we can see. So constructive part we will see first. The experimental setup for this method consists of potentiometer wire AB, which is connected in series with a cell EMF E, key K1 and rheostat as shown in the figure. This is our primary basic circuit of potentiometer wire or potentiometer. Then the terminal A is higher potential than B, obviously. A cell of EMF E1 whose internal resistance R, means here we have only one cell. Like previous case we were having two cells, because in that case we were supposed to compare the EMF, but here we have to calculate this internal resistance of this EMF E1, isn't it? So we have only one cell in this experiment. So a cell of EMF E1, here we can see, of internal resistance R as shown in figure, is to be determined, is connected to the potentiometer wire through galvanometer G and jockey J. Here we can see it is connected to the potentiometer wire through galvanometer J and jockey J. Okay, here I have written J1 and J2 because we have to again take readings for this E and this E1. I will tell you later on. Now next, a resistance box R is connected across the cell E1 to the key K2, means this resistance box E1 has to be connected across, means parallel to this cell E1, okay, with key K2. So total two keys we are going to use here. This is first key K1 and this is second key K2. Now we'll see the working part. The key K1 is closed and key K2 is open. Now here, dear student, we have to concentrate more in this case or on that point. Here initially we have to close key K1. If you close this key, the current will flow through the potentiometer wire. Okay, current will be flowing this. But here, if you kept open key K2, then the current will flow through this line. Okay, current will not go through resistance box, isn't it? As the key K2 is open. Now the circuit now consists of cell E and cell E1, means if this key K2 is open, means current will flow through this direction. Are you getting my point? So both the EMFs will come into the action, that is in the circuit, that is E and E1, both the cells. Understood? And the potentiometer wire, the null point is then obtained. So again null point we have to obtain. So slide this jockey over the manganese wire or potentiometer wire. Okay, so we'll get the null deflection. There we have to stop. Suppose here we are getting null deflection, so here we have to stop and measure this length L1 between J1 and A. This is the effective length L1 across this E1. So we can say this EMF across E1 is directly proportional to L1, as we have seen the principle, isn't it? So here we can write E1 is proportional to L1. So E1 is equal to KL1. So K is potential gradient. Okay, so this is same as per last experiment because potential drop is directly proportional to L1. Clear? So hope it is very clear to all students. Now both the keys K1 and K2 are closed. Now this point is very important. Now both the keys we have to close, means K1 also and K2 also. Means here the current will be divided into two branches. Half of the current will go through E1 and half of the current will go through R. Means definitely there will be potential drop across R. Means here in previous case we have written E1 for this cell. But now as we are introduced resistance box in the circuit and I amount of current is flowing through the circuit, so definitely there will be potential drop across this EMF or of this EMF. So whatever potential drop will be there, that can be calculated by using this formula. So that is V is equal to IR. So next point, now both the keys K1 and K2 are closed, so that the circuit consists of the cell E and the cell E1 and the resistance box, all there comes into the action, that is in the circuit. The galvanometer and the jockey, the sum resistance R is select from the resistance box. Now we will remove some keys from resistance box, okay, and null point is obtained. Means listen it very carefully. In second case what we have to do, I'll explain you. In first case what we have done, just imagine that first case हमने key K1 close किया. In both the cases K1 must be closed, so that only we will get some current through the potentiometer wire. So first case में हमने K1 close किया था, K2 open था, इसलिए current यहाँ से गया and then again we have slided jockey over the manganese wire and we got point L1, isn't it? So here we have written E1 is proportional to L1. Why we have written E1? Because there was no potential drop, as resistance box was not there in the circuit, isn't it? As K2 was open, so current ऊपर से गया, so potential drop होने का chance ही नहीं था. That's why E1 is equal to KL1. But in second case what we have done, you know, K1 obviously we have to close and K2 also in this case we have closed. So current जो जा रहा है वो E1 से भी जा रहा है और resistance box से भी जा रहा है. So we have removed some keys from resistance box so that definitely जो initial EMF होगा उसमें कम आएगी, मतलब कम होगा. मतलब होने वाला क्या है कि definitely there will be potential drop across this current I and resistance box R. So next time हमें जो मिलने वाला है EMF, वो EMF नहीं मिलेगा, यहाँ पे हमें V मिलेगा, V. Are you getting my point? Means इस केस में हमने इक्वेशन क्या लिखा था, E1 is equal to KL1. So next केस में इक्वेशन क्या आने वाला है? Yes, V is equal to KL2, because again we are going to slide the jockey over the manganese wire, and in that case the balancing length will be L2. So as there will be potential drop, so we will be writing V is equal to KL2. So we'll see next slide. Now this is the figure. Now the length of the wire L2 between the null point and point A is measured. Means again as I said in previous slide, resistance box हमने introduce किया था, K2 close किया था. So again we have to slide jockey J2 over manganese wire. So we'll get L2 point. Okay, the distance between J2 and A is nothing but L2 in this case. So we'll get L2, that is balancing length. So again as I said, so there will be potential drop. So here we cannot write E as we have written in previous case. So we can write V is proportional to L2, that is V is equal to KL2, because K is potential gradient in this case. So initially मतलब अभी यहाँ पे हमें दोनों इक्वेशन मिल गए. इन फर्स्ट केस K2 was open, that time we got equation E1 is proportional to KL1. But if you close key K2, then EMF becomes potential drop. So here we got V is proportional to KL2. So this is equation number 1, this is equation number 2. But here what we have done, equation 1 divided by we have done equation 2, means this is equation number 2. So equation 1 divided by equation 2. So KK will get cancelled and we got here E1 upon V is equal to L1 by L2. Understood? So next point is very important. My dear student, we know that according to the Kirchhoff's voltage rule, sum of the total potential difference and total EMF is always 0. So here if you apply Kirchhoff's rule, or simple way, if you see the EMF across this battery, we can write IR plus IR, because this IR for potential drop this V and this IR for this internal resistance E1, isn't it? So here E1 is equal to IR plus IR, and according to Ohm's law again we can write V is equal to IR. Clear? So again divide this equation by this, means divide this by this. So E1 by V1 LHS is equal to IR plus IR divided by this IR. So here I will take outside, that is common, and I will get cancel over here. So E1 by V is equal to R plus R upon R. But again E1 by V from this equation is L1 upon L2. So here we can put value of E1 by V is L1 upon L2. So from this equation R plus R upon R is nothing but L1 upon L2. So from this equation we will rearrange the term, okay, because this R plus R upon R is nothing but 1 plus R upon R. So my one this quantities will take RHS, so it will come -1 and then multiply by this L2, so it will come L1 by L2 minus 1, so it will come R is equal to R into under root inside the bracket L1 upon L2 minus 1. That is, further one step you can increase, students. R is equal to capital R into L1 minus L2 upon L2. So from this equation we can find small r, that is internal resistance of the cell. So hope you understood over here. Okay, so this is the question. Here we can see in this way the question may come for the CBSE board examination. Describe the method of finding the internal resistance of the cell, okay, with the help of potentiometer, and we can find it out easily. Clear? And so here we have finished our this current electricity topic. Okay, so hope you understood. Only I felt you are having doubt in this case only. So here if you see the second case, E1, because E1 is the EMF across this. Clear? So how do we calculate? If you apply Kirchhoff's voltage rule in this loop, so then definitely the direction of the current in this direction and this direction. So if you apply this rule, both the currents will be, okay, opposite, means we can take minus, and if you shift that minus, both the currents here across this R, we will write IR, this current I into resistance R, and across this we can write current I into small r, okay, is equal to EMF. Only one EMF is there in this circuit, small loop, that is E1. That's why this equation has come. Okay, so hope you understood, my dear student. Thank you.